terrifying.
All right, use that for the thumbnail. So the cut's going crazy this month, and part of the cut going crazy is lots and lots of meal prep. So right now we're getting an onion ready for our famous chicken and rice. We got the broth going. We got some chicken titters that we're gonna have to process up, and the world's biggest cutting board for 2 little bell peppers now.
And an onion.
Oh, and an onion, and like probably an entire head of garlic, maybe half. We'll see how many cloves are in there. Peel cam.
I hate peeling garlic. I guess that one wasn't worthy.
All right, we're shaping up to look like we're just gonna use this whole head. So don't be scared to use a lot of garlic. You know, you can never have too much.
It's good for you.
It's a vegetable. So all you non-vegetable ant eaters, we can all rejoice together. Also, if you get really frustrated with it, you can always just smash it and then the little paper comes right off. Also, if they're little and you can twist them, just twist them. Because the more you break them up, the more that Allison comes out. And that's Allison with a C. Or put it in a jar and shake it around with the lid on it and the paper will beat itself off. Pause. Garlic's a naughty thing. It likes to be spanked and
Twisted, manipulated.
unlike the onion, who would prefer to be kept intact.
The onion is the abusive one. The garlic is the one that takes the abuse. Cutting up chicken. The recipe says 4 small breasts, but we buy huge breasts, so we have some meat pounding to do.
Alright, while she beats her meat, I'm gonna chop these up with an assortment of different tools and varieties. So I got Sarah this chopper for what, Christmas?
I think so.
And I think I've used it more times than you have, but that's okay.
I like slap chop.
I like this thing, it's fun.
I like to be able to I got a lot of aggression.
No, I like this thing. It's just one quick like ka-chow.
Ooh,
Don't want to go today. She don't want to go today. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. Make it or break it.
Maybe you should use the bigger one.
No.
I'm just gonna keep beating it. It's going. Just keep beating it. There.
So do not do that on a hollow surface. You need it to be flat and very sturdy, otherwise it gives too much, and you have to beat it crazily.
So now that my chicken is fairly even, I'm gonna cut it the long ways so that I have basically 2 chicken patties.
I like to keep my garlic kind of thicker and chunkier. That way you can kind of tell what you're biting into when it comes to garlic, because I feel like it gets lost in most things a lot of the time. Alright, since we learned from last time, I'm just going to load my onion and slam it on the counter off camera over here.
Here's my chicken, my first one. I got a little f***ed up. This one's not too bad though.
Yeah, that worked way better this time. Definitely do it on a solid surface. And now we get to do the bell peps. I like green bell peppers because I think they give the dish a little more flavor. You can use whatever color you want.
The original recipe, I think, says red,
Yep.
but like he said, use whatever you like.
It came about where our grocery store, the red ones were more expensive. So we started trying the green and I was like, wow, it's actually better and cheaper. Who knew?
But my chicken is a little too thawed and my knife is not at all sharp enough. So this chicken breast turned out really messed up. But that's okay. It'll be alright. It's gonna end up in our bellies regardless.
Yeah.
So we're kind of making two dishes at once right now. I'm making the chicken portion of the dish and he's getting the rice portion ready. So now for the chicken portion, I'm going to preheat my oven to 450 and I'm gonna grab a dish that these are gonna go in and I'm gonna grease them. Pan is greased. Pro tip, take your caps off before you season your meat.
If you have the time and effort in you, I like to put them all in a bowl.
And mix something up.
Or have individual little as you go down the line. But that's being super prepared.
We're going in with the salt first. Give it a good lick. Black pepper.
I like to cut all my bell pepper into strips first. Whatever size you like. If you want them smaller, that's fine. I like mine on the smaller side. But then after that, I come through and dice. But I like to get them all into strips first, and then you can kind of just go down the line and chop, chop, chop.
Hit it with a nice blanket of that onion powder. Now you're gonna hug it in the smoked paprika. Repeat your seasonings on the other side.
Now that our chicken,
The oven's ready, we can add the chicken.
and while that's happening, I'm gonna throw some oil up in this pan. I'm gonna throw some oil up in this pan and let that come up to a nice temperature. We're gonna do the water test in a minute, just to see, you know, if it sizzle dizzles.
So we're cooking our chicken for 10 minutes. We're gonna flip the pan around and do another 10 minutes.
Alright, so I can start smelling the oil coming off my pan, so I'm just going to get a couple droplets of water like that and just right in there. When it sounds like that, that's how you know you're ready for your vegetables. I like to go up in there with the garlic and onions first. I'm gonna turn my heat down some now. I know my pan's nice and hot. I'm still trying to figure out how to use an electric stove. I'm very much used to gas. While she sweats all that, I'm gonna get our green bell pepper in this container. Alright, we're coming in here with the green bell pepper. After you get that in there is when I start liking to add some of our seasonings here. Start off with a nice little sprinkle of some salt. Kind of let that help some of the vegetables sweat out. It'll draw out some of the moisture. And then after that, once they look like they're starting to get a little bit on the wiltier side, we'll start adding in the rest of our flavorings here. Will you pull up the recipe for me? Because I'm like winging it here.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We've made this recipe a lot, so we kind of have it memorized.
Don't be afraid to put that lid on and get yourself some steam action if you're feeling like your vegetables just aren't softening up quickly enough for your liking. Alright, the clock struck 2.
And she lost her shoe.
You ready?
Yep. We'll feel these. Do you think they need a little longer?
No, I can tell by the way they look in the pan. They're soft. So we're doing a double recipe today.
Oh, I only made a single thing of... I made 2 cups of broth, not 4.
And we need 4.
I did what I had written down in my notes, is what happened. The 10-minute timer beeped. I flipped the chicken around in the pan, spun the pan around. So we're doing the chicken for another 10 minutes.
Alright, so now I need to add in 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. 2 tablespoons of turmeric. Don't be afraid if you get a little extra, it's good for you. Anti-inflammatory and all that. Alright, so we miscalculated our recipe originally. So I'm putting in the first batch of broth. And then when the second one's done, we'll add that in there. But for now, we can at least get this going. Make sure you stir up all that seasoning really well now. Get it all incorporated. It should look like this. Nice color to it. You can see all that pretty green in there. Add some crushed red pepper if you like it a little spicy.
Or some cayenne, depending on what kind of a spice you like.
I like to use crushed red pepper because cayenne gets a little gnarly on you. And if you have some minced onion and you really like that, just throw a little bit of that in there, but it's definitely not required. Okay, so that's ready.
So that's ready. It just needs to be stirred. Stir it around.
Alright, put on your safety mitts. Grab your bowl of hot ass broth and pour on in. Give that a stir. Crank your heat back up to high because you're going to want to get this to at least boil a little bit. And then we're going to come in with 2 cups of rice. If you have a lot of loose rice on hand, we found putting it in a glass milk bottle seems to be the best storage method because it's easy pour, don't make a big giant mess, and it's sealed from any outside, you know, things that might get into it. And then you still have like half a bottle left for your next recipe. Reduce, reuse, recycle, or whatever, right? Save the world.
Man, that smells really good today.
Alright, so it's been a while since I made this recipe, so I almost forgot. But I like to add in like a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, just because it gives it that like nice flavor. You know, if you've had nutritional yeast, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't be scared. It's almost like a cheese powder. So you're gonna want to let it boil, simmer, cook for about 20 minutes. You kind of got to watch the pot here, watch the pan, see what it's doing. Mine seems like it's boiling kind of aggressively. I can hear it with how it's bubbling, so I'm gonna turn my heat down to like a 7. And then probably in 5-10 minutes I'm gonna put the lid on this. I like to stir constantly. You don't have to. Just make sure your rice doesn't stick to the bottom. But I like to just stand out here and stir it, because what else do you have better to do? You're waiting on food anyway. Might as well just stand and cook, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Oh, pro tip. If you don't want your clothes, any items smelling like food smells very hard, do not leave any clothes that you don't want to smell in this area, in your kitchen, anywhere nearby. It's not extremely strong, but it will saturate a room.
Yeah.
So mine's still boiling really hard, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more. You don't want to boil off too much of your liquid before your rice has a chance to absorb it, otherwise you'll be left with crunchy rice. Mine started to simmer down pretty quickly, so I turned it down to a lower heat and left it to boil like that. We got about, I'd say probably 2 or 3 more minutes before I'm going to put the lid on this, and then we're just going to stir occasionally every couple minutes.
Okay. Chicken should be done. We're gonna temp it, of course. Here's what it looks like. Mmm, yummy.
Don't be afraid if there's a lot of juices in the bottom of the pan.
That's okay.
That's all your flavor, and we like to pour it right into the rice when you serve. And it makes the whole dish tie together real nicely. I'm at the point now where I'm going to put the lid on my rice and just let it kind of relax, turn it down to a lower heat, and then just check on it every couple minutes. Make sure it's not sticking to the bottom.
Alright. Temping the chicken. That's done. These are, I think these are going to be all done.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother temping the little one. Yeah, these are done. Alright. Chicken's done. We're going to just let it sit in the pan, just rest until the rice is done. And then we can eat. Yay! I'm so freaking hungry.
I like to move my chicken off the stove and let it cool. But since we're going to have it for dinner tonight, we're going to leave it on there. But if you're making this for a meal prep for work or something, take it off and let it cool, and then the juices won't dry up out of the pan and make your chicken all dry. Alright, I still got about 7 minutes left on my timer, but if you feel like your rice is done before the timer, go ahead. It's just suggestive, you know. When it looks about that consistency, you could smear it like that. You can give it a good smear. That's how you know it's done. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you get a little bit of everything in it, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
The flavors balance out really well.
I like to take this and smear it all flat, split it up into 4 quarters, so that way you get 1 quarter each for your chicken. Pack it up for meal prep. It's great for work, whatever you need.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. we're signing out. Over.
Cheers.
That's really good and fresh.
Mm-hmm. This is the best version of it yet.
Yeah. That's really good. It doubles well if you need it to. You know, if you have a big amount of people you want to feed, you can make this for a party. The chicken, once you get it seasoned, is kind of set and forget. The rice is the most tedious part, but you can get this ready, I don't know, hours before people show up, and then just heat it back up in the microwave and it'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was good.
It's gonna be good. Yep. Master rice maker.